Welcome to day 20 of National Podcast Post Month here on the Spotlight. I am your host, Ben Beck. I'm bringing you another stacked episode. This time, not two people who were on the same show, but two people who were on the same network who we happened to have on the program on the same night. Two guys, they were both coming to us via Fox to promote two different shows. The first being Thomas Dekker, who was promoting the show Backstrom, and then the other being Nate Torrence, who was promoting the show Weird Loners. Nate and Thomas are two guys, I guarantee you know they're fantastic character actors. If you've seen their faces before, if you Google them, you've seen their faces before, you've seen them in a ton of other things, especially Nate. Nate has been in so many other projects, from Get Smart to Supernatural to Royal Pains and The Millers and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's been in a ton of stuff, and Thomas as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this double episode, two interviews back-to-back, conversations back-to-back, so make sure you don't miss out. Here they are, Thomas Dekker and Nate Torrence. All right, our first guest this week is someone who has been in the entertainment business for quite a long time, from TV and film to voiceover. His work spans all genres, and now he can currently be seen every Thursday night alongside Rainn Wilson on Fox's Backstrom, currently in its first season. Please welcome to the podcast, Thomas Dekker. Tom, how you doing tonight?
Hello, sir. How are you?
We are doing well. Where are you calling us from tonight?
I am in boiling hot Hollywood at the moment, in my apartment. Yeah.
What's the weather like? What do you guys got going out there right now?
Oh man, we had a heat wave last week, and of course, it was the week my air conditioning went down. So it's been a little brutal. I know I can't complain because it's still freezing on most of the upper East Coast, but it's real hot here. Yeah,
we've been getting a mix of the nicer weather. We've been getting teased with some of the warmer temperatures, but we're still not the springtime yet that we want.
That's good. I hear it's getting a little better in New York, too, from my friends out there.
Yeah.
I heard. A little better.
Like I said, it's just a tease from Mother Nature. We'll get there eventually.
Well, we've got much more than a tease. This feels like a demand from our Mother Nature over here.
Well, you guys are practically all year round nice weather.
Yeah, which actually I find a little boring after a while. At least even in Vegas, believe it or not, where I'm from, we get a cold winter. But in LA, it's just like constant heat.
Yeah. So, getting started on Backstrom. Backstrom was a show I was really anticipating seeing this show when I first started seeing previews for it. I've been a fan of Rainn Wilson's for a while, so of course that was a draw for me, to come into the show. But I've been watching since the first episode. I've become a fan of the entire cast, not just Rainn Wilson, but yourself, Dennis Haysbert, Sarah Chalk. For listeners who haven't had a chance to check out Backstrom yet, tell us a little bit about the show and your character, Greg.
Well, Backstrom is about a very curmudgeonly, nasty, pretty racist, misanthropic, alcoholic detective played by Rainn Wilson, who is a nightmare to deal with, but is sort of the most brilliant detective in the bureau in Portland, Oregon. And so every time they kind of want to get off a case, he ends up sort of solving it, and so they have to put up with his bullshit.
Yeah.
As for me, I'm sort of the only character that technically is not in the police universe. However, I used to be a prostitute and a drug dealer, and I'm now a professional thief. So I have sort of all these underworld connections that Backstrom uses to solve the case. Basically, I get him information that would be impossible to obtain legally or from any other route. And I'm also his roommate, and I'm sort of, Valentine, as I call him. Gregory Valentine is the openly gay punk rocker, and it's sort of a really interesting dynamic to see in Backstrom and Valentine's characters, because I can't think of a pairing that I've really seen on mainstream TV quite like us. It's sort of, we seem like polar opposites, but at the same time, we really only trust each other, and we're both pretty hateful for the human race. So although it sounds bizarre on paper, when you watch the show, I think it's kind of one of the most endearing things about it is our weird little friendship. I guess
it's almost like a dark brotherhood, I would kind of call it.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of speculation. I will say this, and I think it's in next week, I believe, is the episode where we really get into our past and how we met and why he kind of puts up with my petty crimes and why I put up with his bad attitude. So that's going to be a really exciting episode for people that dig our, because it is a little mysterious, like how these two came together. But I think it's one of the really fun things about the show.
Yeah, I mean, you'll be at the beginning of an episode constantly at each other's throats and insulting each other. And by the end of that episode, you're sitting on the couch together having a beer, and it's just,
or flying his kite.
Yeah,
that was a fun episode.
That was such a great episode too. I was such a fan of that episode. At the same time,
I really like that one too. I got to tell you, man, the show as we shot it, and some of the episodes have been airing out of order, but as we shot it, my character and the relationship between us grew and grew and grew and grew. And I'm not saying that it's because of that, but I think the show got better and better and better as we went, because it's been a hard show to explain to people, because one minute it's really funny and then the next it's really serious. We've sort of alternated between these two very different moods, and I like that about the show because I think it's unique, but I think it's taken people a bit of a minute to sort of grasp the tone of it. But as we go along, you'll see we really find our feet as we go.
Yeah, I mean, you had mentioned the show being pretty serious but having some funny moments as well. I'd have to imagine that working with someone like Rain on set, it's got to keep it loose between the takes.
Yeah, well, working with Rain has been honestly one of my favorite experiences with another actor ever, because as you've noticed, it slowly as the season goes, I get a little bit here and there with the other characters, but predominantly Rain and I would joke that, like, okay, we were doing 2 TV shows. He was doing one show in the cop world, and then there was the Valentine and Backstrom show, and we have a really we're horribly mean to each other all day, in the most loving comedic way. We both have a really bitter sense of humor, and I think the character I play is very, very different from me personally, but the thing that is the most realistic is just the way that they treat each other, because it's basically how Rain and I treat each other on the set. So yeah, that was a really special 7 months to spend just working so closely with him, and he's an actor that cares so much about every little detail, and obviously he's also a producer on the show, but we were given complete freedom for improv, particularly in our storyline. So I'd say like a lot of the dialogue and moments that happen with us specifically, we just would come up with on the fly, and I was amazed that they were sort of the moments and choices that everyone chose to keep in the episode, because usually in TV, if you improv, that's not what they use.
Yeah.
They're very controlling about it, but yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you mentioned how much you like working with Rain, of course. Your professional experience really runs the gamut from the lighter type of roles, not necessarily all the time, but there's some light moments to Backstrom. You did a little bit more of the serious stuff as John Connor himself in the Sarah Connor Chronicles as well. And you've even done voice work with some Land Before Time stuff in American Tale series.
Lots of that shit.
Yeah. Do you have a type of work that you might enjoy the most?
Man, to be honest, it's always just about, it's really about how interesting is the role, and is there something that I can do with it that is, like, hopefully totally unlike anything else I've done. That's kind of what I'm always looking to do. I've never wanted to be an actor who is sort of known for a brand of character or a brand of type of movie or show, or, I kind of really like jumping totally from one thing to the next in a very different way. But it's been interesting because pretty much all I did for the most part growing up, because I started acting at age 5, was comedy. It was like Seinfeld and, kid shows and all that kind of stuff. And then when I hit like 18 and I got Terminator, it was like suddenly like I think everybody just decided I was like morbidly depressed and couldn't be funny. So it's been really nice to get to do a little comedy again. It's been, obviously I still love doing the kind of dark, heavy stuff, which again I get to do in this show as well. But it's been really nice to do something a little lighter again. But no, I love doing movies. I love doing TV shows. It really just depends on, how cool the people are that are making it. And I've done some movies and shows that I'm not particularly proud of, that were sort of gigs I had to take for money in that kind of situation. But on overall, I've tried to kind of stick with just working with people that I like. That's kind of the best part of it for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you did allude a little bit to the child acting stuff as well. Can you talk a little bit about that as far as what you learned from being a child actor, some experiences, I guess, both good and bad, but feel free to share whatever, and how
you grow up a lot faster, I think, and you kind of have to, and when you're immersed in a set all the time, like I was only in actual, going to school until about third or fourth grade, and then it had to become set schooling all the time. So you're really not with other kids. You're kind of always with adults, and I always enjoyed that. And I think it was kind of educational for me. And it sounds weird. People always ask me, was it pushed into it, or because how can you make a decision to do that when you're 5 years old? But I didn't have the pushy kind of stage parents. My parents were in music and art and didn't really have any kind of connection to acting or the industry in LA, and so it happened through me just being a little kid that could sing, and that sort of just accidentally led to, oh, okay, well, there's this commercial where they need a kid to sing. That sounds fun. And I did a movie for John Carpenter when I was 6 called Village of the Damned, with like the most 90s cast imaginable, like Christopher Reeve and Kirstie Alley, and like so fucking funny. But I remember like that experience was like the first time that I knew how much fun it was to do this. And but then when I was 16 or 17, I sort of had a crisis of faith and didn't want to do it anymore. And I just had a job application in at a record store here in LA that I liked. And I figured I was just going to like try and do the normal thing for a while. And like literally like a week later, I got Heroes. And so then I was like, oh God, all right, well, I guess I'm sticking with this. And yeah, now here I am.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned working in the music store, and I know you have a little bit of a music background as well. In 2008, you put out you put out an album titled Psychonautics. Cyanotic.
It's a weird title, yeah.
Do you still find the time to write new music and stuff like that while you're in between acting jobs?
Absolutely, yeah. What happened with all that was I put that album I'd been working on. I'd had a record deal when I was about 14. That I was working they were trying to do the kind of pop thing. And so at 15, with my little kind of teenage attitude, I kind of shut the door on that and taught myself, how to program and produce electronic music, because I'd been raised in classical. So like I knew piano and violin and guitar and all that from a really young age. But I decided I wanted to do industrial and experimental, and I was into Nine Inch Nails and Bjork and Depeche Mode and all that kind of stuff. But that album took a long time. And then I finally put it out, and there's things about it I like and things about it I hate. It was sort of like a diary of growing up musically, I guess. But after that, I just felt weird about being known a little for being an actor and then having music that is so not actor-singer, crossover music.
Yeah.
So what I did was I started, in 2009, I started this kind of art collective / band called 0x0, which is what I work under now. I don't think I'll ever put anything out again under my own name. So it's kind of was this great concept that I can't believe worked. I wanted to find, so many of my friends were photographers or costume designers or dancers or whatever, musicians, and so we were all kind of into the same vibe. And so it's true, we've all the album art and all the videos and everything that we've put out has sort of been a big group effort. The music element is sort of handled the most by me, but we put out an album called =0 last year that was much more like 80s synth rock, I guess, and now we have a new one that'll be coming out in the fall called Love and Razor Blades, which is a little more, I guess, dubstep, hardcore kind of stuff. So no, definitely, it's definitely still going, and, that's sort of my issue is on top of it that I'm also writing and directing, and so it's kind of trying to keep a lot of plates in the air, which sometimes that's why I think some of these things kind of don't get as much of a grand opening or release as if it was just one thing I was focusing on. But I get very antsy if I'm not working on something kind of all the time. I start to get a little just start behaving badly and wasting time.
Yeah, because I read online with Cyanotic, you did most of, if not all the work on that yourself, right? You did all the mixing and all the editing and everything with that?
All of it, yeah. Yeah, the only other musicians was a string quartet that I worked with, but pretty much that album, everything was programmed and done by me. But that's been really nice on this new venture with 010 to kind of be working with guitarists or, because obviously there's people out there who are going to do a million things far better than if it's just me. So it's been nice to kind of be able to collaborate a little bit. It was something that I just didn't have when I did that first album when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you do a whole bunch of different things, really. Your personality just come off as somebody who's always up for trying something, which is just interesting, man. So
it's been a really nice crossover too that I've gotten to do some scoring and songs for movies that I've been in too. That's been a really nice. Like I did this movie called Plush for Catherine Hardwicke that was like a goth rock movie, and I kind of came in for this small part because I was doing something else at the time, and it ended up that I worked on the entire soundtrack with like Arcade Fire's producer and Kate Crash and all these great people. So, and that was just a trip. I did not expect to get to do something like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. What's next on your bucket list then? I find it interesting. You're always open to trying new stuff.
Well, I'm really, really, really happy with this new album. It's my favorite that I've worked on so far, and I think that I'm really excited for that to come out. And a bunch of artist friends of mine in like Texas have been making these music videos that I haven't even really been a part of, which is great. So we're going to put those out soon. And then aside from that, I'm supposed to be directing a feature that I wrote in July, being co-produced by Nikki Reed, the actress. She's also going to be in it, and I'm not allowed to really disclose who else is in it yet, but hopefully we'll be shooting that in Montreal in July. And I have to admit, that and hopefully a second season of Backstrom are definitely my two. Those are my two big goals. But man, it is hard to get a movie made. Holy shit! I was at an awards thing recently, and I was talking to this guy who just had his first movie at Sundance, and I was saying, "Oh, I'm so frustrated. We've already been working on getting this thing off the ground for a year." And he laughed and said that his had taken 8 years. So I guess I shouldn't feel too bad yet.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is there anything in the non-entertainment world that we can look out for Tom Dekker in the news? Is this what the next awesome thing that you just did?
Well, you want to be careful when you look me up in the news because you never know what's going to pop up. No, I mean, yeah, I still have to do just sort of photography, which I would never hope to do professionally. I had I'm going to try and get a new site up for that just for fun, because I do film photography and I love it, but it's definitely not something I'm good enough at to pursue professionally. And yeah, I guess that's definitely always been something that's frightened me ever since I was even really young. I'm like, God damn, I really hope that something works out in the arts, because otherwise I'm screwed. I don't know what I would do. I don't know. I don't think being like an ace accountant is anywhere in my future. I think so. Let's hope that this train doesn't crash in all these departments at any time soon.
Well, I mean, we definitely have our fingers crossed, for a season to a Dekker, and if it, or Dekker, you are, Jesus, for Backstrom, I got confused there for a minute. So if there's a second season for Backstrom.
You can call it Dekker. I prefer the show to be called Dekker.
Or be called Valentine. There we go.
Just Valentine.
Valentine.
Yeah, well, Wayne's big joke is that we're going to get a spin-off where Valentine and Backstrom just move to Fire Island and just party the whole time. And there's no murder solving. It's just the two of us having drinks on the beach. That was his idea, not mine. But it does sound fun.
Yeah, it's like a very odd couple. That it would be worth.
Exactly. Backstrom will retire, and then we'll just move to some weird, Miami or something. I don't know.
Yes. So if season 2 comes around, which we hope it does, any chance you might be directing any episodes in the second season?
Oh man, I don't know if they would trust me enough in a second, but if the show keeps going, you never know. I would love to do that. I mean, that's been like a dream on. This is my 4th regular show gig, and that's always Although I would have been too scared to ever direct an episode of Terminator, because that's like a whole other
that's
a whole other thing.
I mean,
battle scenes.
Yeah, and not only that, but that you're messing. I mean, you're playing with a little bit of fire with that, because there's the Terminator series is such a following that. I mean, you're not only making the producers and the writers happy, you're trying to make the fans happy at the same time, and that's.
Yeah, I mean, that was what made that so scary, even just to play John Connor. Like, he's such an iconic character, and I remember when I got that at 18, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully I'd love to direct it back. I just really hope that the show really gets its proper following, and we just get to keep doing it, because it really was. I've had, I did a show a couple years ago that, how shall I put this lightly? When it ended, I wouldn't say thrilled, but I would say I was at peace with the ending. And I really hope with this one that we keep going, because it's such a great time. And I just want to bust Rain's balls some more every day.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Well, I know we're running out of time with you, but I have two quick questions for you before we wrap things up. The first off, you had mentioned, Terminator and the Sarah Connor Chronicles, which was another Fox show. And another Fox show that I was a big fan of was Raising Hope with Garrett Dillahunt.
Yeah.
And I know you had worked with him on Sarah Connor Chronicles, and it's such a
Garrett and Rain went to school together. How weird is that?
But that kind of goes hand in hand with a little bit of my question, because it's a different role. I mean, he went from a complete serious role on Terminator, and villainous role, to a complete absent-minded comical role on Raising Hope. And I'm wondering which side of him you saw more, on the set of Terminator.
Of Garrett?
Yes. Yeah.
Garrett was so chill and funny and sweet and nice. I would definitely say he leaned more to the Raising Hope side than the Terminator side. But that, man, that show, it was so, I sort of can't believe what the vibe was on that set, because it's like the most deathly serious, depressing show. But then between Lena and I and Shirley Manson, like, it was just constant laughter. It was constant, just like jokes and pranks and laughing, and but I definitely think that good point that you made there about Garrett going from like that to Raising Hope, and me from Terminator to Backstrom. Fox is really loyal with their actors, which is really nice. It's kind of like this. They use, even in guest starring roles, they use the same people over and over again, and so that's it's really nice to be back at that network, because I get to see all these people from other gigs, all the time. Which is really cool.
Yeah.
Garrett's awesome. You should interview him.
Oh God, I would love to. I would love to interview him one day. We would love to. But final question before we let you go. Any chance we might see you in Heroes Reborn?
Oh, wow. That's a question. I don't know, man. I mean, I would absolutely be fine to do that. I know when I left Heroes to do Terminator, and there was like all this speculation at the time that I'd been fired, or that we had this like hugely unpleasant end to the show, which wasn't really true. We had some issues, but it was really just that I was a recurring on that. And if you get offered John Connor, as great as Heroes was, I just kind of left at that opportunity. But if they'd have me back, I'd absolutely swing on by again.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely going to send people to check out Backstrom, Thursdays, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock Central on Fox every Thursday. I highly recommend it. Like I said, I've been a fan since the beginning. We're going to send people your way on Twitter as well. You're at the Thomas Dekker.
That's right.
And of course, also follow Backstrom on Twitter, which is at BackstromFox. Thomas, this has been awesome, man. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much, man. Great questions.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
All right, guys, stick around. We will be back right after this break. All right, everybody, welcome back once again to the showcast. We're joined by our second guest this week, and he's yet another one that certainly knows his way around the entertainment industry, starting off with his commercial work, moving into television and film. You've seen him on shows such as Super Fun Night, the HBO series Hello Ladies, which I was a huge fan of, as well as movies like She's Out of My League. But starting this week, you'll be able to catch him every Tuesday night in the new Fox show Weird Loners. Please welcome Mr. Nate Torrence. Nate, how you doing?
I will take that. That was a nice lead-in.
We try our best, my friend.
That was awesome. That was my whole resume. I gotta send that to my mom.
We'll cut it out for you so you can just send that away.
Exactly. That'll be my ringtone.
Just send you the MP3.
Exactly.
I can't imagine somebody making that their ringtone. That's awesome. So Adam and I have both we've been lucky enough to have caught the first few episodes of the show, but for everybody else who's listening who hasn't had that luxury just yet and has to wait until the premiere, tell us what to expect from Weird Loners when it premieres, and a little bit about your character, Eric.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so kind of what we're focusing on is it's four people that are kind of in their 30s, totally relationship challenged for one reason or another. And as fate has it, they all end up living in the same building and kind of start hitting it off, not even as friends, just as like relationships in each other's lives, and realizing that, wow, we all suck at making friends or being in any relationship whatsoever, whatever that may look like, for different reasons. And so yeah, that becomes like the basis of our friendships.
So yeah, I mean, and the title of the word weird in the title definitely is appropriate to.
Yeah, no, well, that's what's kind of cool, and also trying to be like as relatable as possible. It's like, yes, we're weird, but I think the whole point of the show is to realize that we're all kind of weird. We all have like these moments of why we would feel lonely, or why,
yeah,
this girl, that guy doesn't like us, or something like that. And I think that's what we're kind of trying to dive into, is that we're all a little weird no matter how we look. And then my character is, I think, the weirdest of them all, though. That's kind of awesome. His name's Eric, and he works the night shift as a toll booth collector on the Triborough Bridge, which is an awesome job for a lonely man.
Even those of us in relationships are weird. I mean, my wife tells me all the time that if people could see how I am in the house, outside of the house, that they would think I'm like a huge
No,
weirdo.
that's exactly it. What do they say? As long as you're over 49% of the time not completely angry at that person, it's a healthy relationship, right? That's the goal, man.
That's one way to look at it.
50.
And like you said, Eric, your character is definitely on the more of the weird of the four. He's definitely a bit aloof. He's the oddest one, I would say, of the four main characters. He's also the one, though, I think, in just watching the first few episodes, that has the most physical comedy aspect, whether it be like sock puppets or something of that nature.
It's awesome. I was so excited, because you don't really know that stuff or where they're going to take their character right off the bat. Like you do the pilot. We were lucky enough to know that we were going to do 6 episodes no matter what. They had given us a commitment to do it, but you never know where their scripts are going. And I was so excited, man, that they started doing like crazy. I get tasered, I get fights, I fall into trash cans. It was awesome. I did all my own stunts too.
That's great.
I'm very proud of that.
Do you find that physical comedy more challenging, or do you enjoy it more than like the scripted side of comedic acting?
Yeah, I love it. I think what's kind of cool and hard right now in comedy is because comedy's gotten so real. I mean, I don't think there's any true or at least single camera comedy. It's like you're almost half drama, half comedy. Everything's not big and broad and wacky, and so to do physical comedy means it has to be that much more real. You're not like buying it or slapsticky, and so that's when I get really excited, because half the time it just comes down to me saying, I can do that. I will totally do that. I'll give you 3 takes, and I won't walk tomorrow, but I'll do it. And so I was really excited about it. And I have like this weird background. This is kind of humiliating to admit, but when I was like 13, I was a trampoline gymnast. So I literally won nationals in my age group. It's horrible, but it's true.
You didn't push for the Olympics or anything like that?
I know that. You know what's funny? That's how I got my SAG card. I got started in this business all because I could do a 1.5 flip on a trampoline. And I was like this big old husky boy pulling it, and they're like, "Yeah, you totally can do it. Well, here's your SAG card."
Speaking of being that age and younger, are the pictures that they use in the beginning of the show your actual pictures?
It totally is. And this is what's so weird, is like I am getting hit up by all my grade school friends. It's so funny, like they're hearing about it because, like you're going through all of these pictures and they're finding out, like what elementary school you go in. And I'm totally from small town in Ohio. And, they're making phone calls to these, like, principals or schools, and that literally got out. And everyone was like, oh, are we going to be on television? Which they're not. But yeah, they're all hitting me up. All of my 3rd grade class wants to be my best friend.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, the show itself has a great cast. And you guys all seem to meld really well together. And I mean, I don't want to spoil anything for everybody who hasn't had a chance to see it yet, but I will just say that there's one scene in the pilot that just involves lip syncing, and that totally had me laughing out loud.
Wasn't that a great idea? That kind of came late too. Like, it was a rewrite, and it was such a smart and funny idea to get us like just as friends, you know, because there's two hurdles you face as an actor. Is one, to have chemistry on screen, but hopefully, two, to be friends with them off camera. And we were really lucky. There's no egos. That's what's kind of cool. I think all of us have worked long enough in this business, and like, we always kind of make the joke that we've all played the best friend of somebody on different shows, and now we're all on a show, kind of having our own show together. And that kind of made it an even playing field where we all just want it to succeed, and so we're all kind of like got each other's backs, and yeah, it's a great cast. That we really do. We kind of hang out off camera too, and that's rare, you know.
Yeah. You mentioned some of the shows, you know, like you said, being the best friend and things like that. You actually happen to be on two shows that I was a really big fan of, but but they were unfortunately cut short before their time, in my opinion. Mr. Sunshine and Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
That's awesome, man. I love it. I love that you like those. I get so sad when shows don't make it. I don't know that I can make it in this business because I get so attached to these stupid characters, Roman and Wade. Oh, heartbreaking. But Wade, yeah, both of them were so cool. So it's always fun to meet people that liked those and like the characters. But yeah, Hello Ladies is still a little fresh.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful they let us do a movie, you know, to wrap up the characters and give them kind of closure. But man, I had an awesome time on that show too.
Yeah, that was a good show, and that was something I was going to ask.
So, did you make it through? Could you like literally make it through an episode without pausing it? It can get so awkward.
Oh yeah, it's definitely awkward, but I mean, it's something I want to go back and rewatch it just because, I mean, I knew who you were when I watched it. I'm a big fan of Stephen Merchant's as well. So, it's such a good show. HBO puts out a good show as well, and it's just,
it is, yeah. Our cinematography and all that, you felt the bar be raised, and yeah, but it was a cool, dark comedy, and as far as like really getting into true loneliness. I always say that Weird Loners, I feel, was a step for me into a more commercialized version of Hello Ladies, because it's a little bit more lighter and a little bit more funnier.
Yeah.
Hello Ladies can always kind of ended with that.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of another television show, I grew up watching Get Smart. And
awesome.
I got really skeptical when the idea came about bringing it to the big screen, until I saw that first teaser trailer with Steve Carell locked in the phone booth.
That's awesome,
and
man.
I love it. From the moment I saw that, I was like, okay, this is going to be pretty good. You guys totally did that movie complete justice to the show. I'm such a fan of that movie, especially with you and Masioka, your two characters.
Yeah. That was one of those crazy, like, you only live with, like, once kind of. I was in just utopia on that set the whole time, like, where you know, I mean, I was pretty young still. I had done Studio 60, some commercials, and I was all about, like, improv and sketch comedy at the time, and so to come in and work with Steve and Anne Hathaway and The Rock, and you're just like, and then I'm like flying around in the jet doing press, and you're like, man, this is just nuts. So it was pretty cool, and we did this little spin-off movie on that too. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, Harry and
this little Get Smart thing.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty cool deal, and definitely that was one of those. I mean, as an actor, you know, on that side of things and career things, you're just always looking for something that just kind of opens the door for you, and that definitely was that for me. It would have been Studio 60, which was Aaron Sorkin's first show after West Wing, and then I went from there and then got Get Smart right after that wrapped, and that was a big moment for me where, you know, you get into larger agencies, and yeah, so I'm very, very proud and happy, and that's all good stuff. It was a good time of life.
Were you added to that cast after, like, Steve and Anne Hathaway and all them, or did you see them hop on as you were already attached?
No, you know, it's so funny. That was one of the most crazy audition process I've ever went through, because it was a multi-picture deal, because they wanted to do 2 DVDs and then 3 films. So it was a 5-picture deal for me and Mossy's character. So I ended up going in, I think I read for that thing, like, maybe 15, 16 times. Like, they kept adding, like, they were looking, I was lucky enough to be cast, and then they just kept trying to find my partner. So I read with, like, Rachel Dratch. I read with the Farley brothers, Chris's brothers, John.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was so cool. So all these people I actually read with, then women, I was reading with Jayma Mason. I read with, you ready for this? I read with Kevin Wiseman, who played Kivas on Hello Lady.
Really?
For that role. Yeah, we talked about it. He was like, oh damn it, they didn't get smart. Like, at least we're working together now, but that really sucks.
Yeah, I mean, there's such an incredible cast in that movie. You had to be, I mean, like you said, you were young.
They were all totally attached prior to that. I know that it went through like five, like Jim Carrey was supposed to do it, all these people, and then, they settled on Steve. And then that was just right when he got, and Anne Hathaway, I feel like both of them just exploded right after that. Like, they were obviously A-list, but then went to this whole other level.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool to be with them in that moment. And they're both amazing people, like, so nice, especially, they honestly didn't have to hang out or talk to me. They did, which was always cool. Alan Arkin's in it. I mean, it was nuts.
Are there still any rumors to a possible sequel? Because I heard that a while back.
So long ago. Pete Segal directed it, and I know there's a script. I actually had someone come up to me and talk to me about it, and they're like, your part's really funny in it, but this was years ago.
Yeah.
So I think it did. I think that the cast just got so large in their schedule specifically. And then I know that Steve, he opened up his own production company at Warner Brothers, and so that was a big thing that I think he wanted to go more indie too. Like, you could see that in some of his choices. Like,
yeah.
Foxcatcher now. Like, I think, and every comedian has that in them, They want to be funny, and then they also want to try to, break that pigeonhole, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I know another comedy that you were in after Get Smart that I think is a highly underrated comedy. I think it's just hilarious. Is She's Out of My League that I mentioned in the intro. I mean,
that has got the greatest cult following in the world. And it's just like starting up again because I think MTV's playing it. Like, it was on E for a while, now it's MTV. And it's so funny to get, like, all these, like, young 20-year-olds now are really into that movie. And so, like, as far as getting, like, recognized and stuff, there's this whole new audience for it. I love that movie. Those are all crazy people, too, like, that all, like, ended up getting their own TV shows. And, we were all pretty new. I mean, Jay had a resume, obviously. But, like, me, TJ, Vogel, everyone's got their own shows now. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, Alice was in the new Star Trek.
Yeah, I mean, she went Star Trek. And what else was she? She was in Men in Black 3 or something, too.
Yeah, she's been in a few different things. She was popping up here and there.
Yeah.
But, that's right. She was in Men in Black 3. I had to think about that for a minute.
I remember that she was in talks with it or something when we did our press tour, that they were already talking about it. Like, it was like a big push.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
You had mentioned earlier, you said you're from a small town in Ohio. You're from Canton, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm outside of Canton, which Canton's like a suburb of Cleveland. So I was born there and stayed there, yeah. But then my parents, like, when they retired, I'm the youngest of 4, and they opened a bed and breakfast in, like, Amish country. So, like, I went to high school in, like, rural farm. Yeah, it was crazy. But it's fun to go home now. So I have all these towns in Ohio that claim me.
I was going to say, because Canton, is famous for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Football Hall of Fame, baby.
Yeah.
You know it.
Were you a big football fan growing up?
I kind of was. Yeah, I played football, and I mean, it's a football state. I mean, I know the Browns aren't the greatest, but we got the Buckeyes, and they're always tough. And yeah, but we have a couple. There's like documentaries made on Massillon football, which is one of our. That's really close to where I live, where it's just real intense high school football. Like it's a pretty. If you ever see the documentary Go Tigers, that is near where I grew up, and it's like they hold their kids back so there'll be bigger linemen when they're seniors.
Man.
They sell coffins that have the Massillon Tiger logo. It's nuts out. It's nuts out. Welcome to Ohio.
That's like football. True. That's like true. Like Friday Night Lights kind of football.
That's exactly it. It's total Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, you expect that in Texas, but Ohio.
Who would have known? Who would have known these factory workers got it?
Another thing that I had seen, and I wasn't sure if this was true because I haven't seen this show in such a long time. Were you really on the game show Street Smarts at one point?
I was. I won $3,000.
Wow.
I did that in Hollywood Squares. I was on Hollywood Squares too, and I epically failed. I literally forgot how to play tic-tac-toe. I got the questions right, but I lost the game. Like I got beat twice. Like a girl got 3 O's across the top and 3 O's down the middle. This is horrible. I made a short film out of it, and when I went on tour with my live show, I would play it, and it was all the Meatloaf's Objects in the Rearview Mirror. It was a short film of me failing on Hollywood Squares. It was awesome.
Was that before you got into acting too?
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, I started off. Yeah, I left. I was in Ohio, was going to Kent State. And then I saw a show in Chicago. I went and saw a Second City show, and Tina Fey was main stage, Rachel Dratch. It was everyone from 30 Rock, basically, were in this little theater, and I freaked out. I'd never seen improv or anything, and so I finished that semester and moved to Chicago, and then studied there, and then from there moved to L.A. and kept doing it out here, and then started touring with, like, a one-man, like, sketch show, comedy, like, stand-up show, and then did that until Studio 60. And then after that, you know, I try to always perform live like once a year. Me and my brother kind of do a show. He's an actor in Chicago. And so we'll kind of combine and do a hometown show and kind of get our old fans and do like one venue and book it out and do something crazy. Usually like New Year's Eve we do it.
That's awesome.
You should come to Philly.
There we go, man. Philly ain't far at all.
No, yeah.
We did all this. She's out of my league in Pittsburgh. I mean, I know that's a ways away, but
it's the same state.
Yeah, same state. It counts.
There you go, man. Hey, you gotta take it. It's like us in Cincinnati.
Another thing I saw on your resume, and I was curious about, was a short that you had pretty much done everything for, directed, and even titled yourself. Where can I go watch We Think Nate Torrence is Dead?
I have been trying to sell that so bad. I wanted to get it on Crackle because the whole thing is, this is what happened. I'm in Colorado. I'm waiting to hear. When was that? Would have been. It was. I was waiting to hear about Hello Ladies. We're about to film it, and I had. You know, you have these contracts where you can't do anything, right. And so my brother-in-law had this hunting cabin, and I was like, I just want to write something and just go do it. And so I was kind of just doing it like as a creative. We'll see what happens. And so I shot the whole thing on my phone. It's just me. Acting like I'm documenting myself for like a vlog, and I end up dying in the midst of it, and someone finds my phone. It's a total found footage, you know, whatever that is, but it was kind of a cool twist, and I ended up winning the LA Indie Fest for Best Comedy Short, and got it in a couple places, but it's horrible. Like, it's all literally filmed on an iPhone 4. Yeah, but it's pretty funny. It's not like it's a legit. As far as how I die, there's no like supernatural anything. I don't want to give anything away because it's got a pretty funny ending.
Yeah, definitely.
But it ends with me coming out of a grave and doing a giant dance in the snow in my underwear. It literally does. That's how it ends. It's awesome.
The weird part is, after seeing some of the roles you've done before, I can honestly picture that entire thing. That's the best part of it.
No, it's fair. I've seen that. I know that.
That's the best part about it, though.
That's how Weird Loners hits, too.
There it is. That's what we're pushing. The series finale. That's what I'm really pushing that.
Yeah, well, we're definitely going to push people to check out Weird Loners, as I said before.
Please do, man.
Premieres this Tuesday night, March 31st, 9:30, 8:30 Central on Fox, and every Tuesday afterwards. Like you said, you got a 6-episode stint right now, but, you know, we're going to keep our fingers crossed you guys are going to get picked up for a season 2.
There it is, man. We're pretty hopeful.
So,
good stuff.
But Nate, this has been awesome, man. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, bud.
So, all right, everybody, stick around. We'll be back in a few minutes.